Will Deeth imports toys from China, selling them online and at pop-up stores in local shopping centres. Nothing unusual there. It's not unusual for Will to make tens of thousands of dollars in a week. What is unusual is he's 15 years old. Before we get stuck into episode 396 of the Small Business Big Marketing Show, the marketing gold is made possible thanks to Prosper and Design Crowd. Design Crowd is the world's #1 custom design marketplace where, with access to 550,000 designers, wow, that's a lot of designers, you'll get the perfect design every time. And you can get $100 off your brief over at designcrowd.com/Timbo. And we're also made possible thanks to Prosper, which is Australia's #1 online lender to small business. You can quickly apply online for loans up to $250,000, get a fast decision, and in most cases receive the funding in under 24 hours. Give them a buzz. Tell them Timbo sent you. 1300 882 867.
Well, I said, welcome to a small business marketing show, where successful small business owners share their souls to take your marketing straight to the lead. Now, here's your host, Mr. Timbo Reid.
And welcome back to the Small Business Big Marketing Show. I'm your host, Timbo Reid. You, infinitely more importantly, are a motivated business owner ready to crank out some great marketing to build that beautiful business of yours into the empire it deserves to be. Big show today, team. 15-year-old toy importer Will Deeth takes us behind the scenes of his burgeoning toy importing empire. It's a great story. Very early in the making too. I'll show you how to get more people clicking on your website when you appear in Google's search results. I help a listener get noticed in an industry dominated by one big brand that's actually been on this show previously. Don't tell them. And we go back into the vault, revisiting a chat I had with one of Australia's leading product demonstrators. As per usual, team, there is marketing GOLD dripping from the ceiling over here at Small Business Big Marketing's HQ. So let's get stuck right in.
Do you need a speaker for your next conference? Recommend Timbo to your event organiser. Or better still, book him. Tim Reid, that's reid.com.au.
Righto, let's see what this button does.
What have you got to lose?
Oh yes, indeedly doodly. It's time for one simple yet effective marketing idea that you can implement today or tonight or immediately. One that's not going to cost you a fortune, might just generate you more awareness, more inquiry, and ultimately more sales. I call today's idea the match your headline with your page title SEO hackaroony. Short, nice, brief title. Have you ever searched for something on Google, clicked a link, only to find that what you're looking for isn't there? What did you do? You most likely hit the back button, never to return to that website. Due to our short attention span, we don't look through everything on the website, which causes an increase in your bounce rate. If your information isn't highlighted, the bounce rate is the percentage of people that quickly leave your website upon arriving, and you want it to be low. To help lower your bounce rate, make sure that the main headline on your page matches your page title, which is the blue copy that appears in the first line of a search result. You've got around 60 characters to play with. This gives the visitor confidence that the information or item they are getting from you matches their search query. So, here's my 3 steps to making your website less bouncy. Step 1. Get clear on what each and every page of your website is set up to do, and make sure the headline spells it out. For example, I recently did a podcast episode with Richard Stubbs on how to conduct a world-class interview for your content marketing. That was the headline at the top of the page, and the exact same words appear in the page title. Step 2. ensure the page title for each and every page matches your headline. If your headline is more than 60 characters long, that's cool. Just make sure the first 60 characters match your page title. And step 3, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, then don't ignore this idea. It's important. Simply hand it on to your search engine optimization specialist or web developer. And here's the pro tip. If you're not sure what the best headline and page title should be, then use Headline Analyzer. It's a free tool designed to write headlines that improve your search rankings and website traffic. That's my 3 steps to making your web page less bouncy. Head over to smallbusinessbigmarketing.com/396, where you'll find a link to this post plus some additional resources to bring this idea to life, including an article, it's a great article, by Moz's Rand Fishkin on the importance of page titles, and a link to purchase a signed copy of my book, The Boomerang Effect, that promises to get you in a positive marketing mindset. So,
What have you got to lose?
you and I will be meeting some amazing business owners and marketers over the coming weeks. Sisters Jo and Lucy from homewares brand Hunting for George explain how content marketing has been an absolute game changer for their brand's success. And we have a local area marketing discussion with the guys behind those community notice boards you see in shopping centres. Yes, they are a real business, my first question to them, and quite a big business these days. But right now, a big thank you to past guest and long-time listener Phil Lay of Retail Global for introducing us to 15-year-old toy importer Will Deeth. It's a great story. At the age of 11, Will decided he wanted to purchase his first house by the time he was 18. At the age of 13, he had the opportunity to go to China with his mum, and with $900 of his own hard-earned cash, how do you get that at the age of 15? At the age of 13, he made his first wholesale purchase of toys. That Christmas, he did a pop-up shop and made 10 grand in a week. He has since followed that up with multiple trips to China to reinvest his money, and in Christmas 2016, at the ripe old age of 15, he made 70 grand. Will continues to sell his goods online as well as offline and has a pop-up shop this Christmas as well. I started off by asking him if he'd bought his dream house yet.
No, so we're preparing to buy it early next year, so just as soon as this financial year finishes.
Yeah.
Just because of bank reasons, because this business has only been running for, this is the first financial year this business has been running for. Yeah.
So it's less to do with your age and more to do with the age of the business, the fact that they won't lend you the money. Is that right?
Yeah.
Love it, mate. Hey, what's a house of a 15-year-old young man going to include? I'm guessing a massive man cave and cinema room.
Well, I wish. That would be amazing. We would also have to have a pool. But the first one is going to be in an investment property. And so with this one, I'm probably going to buy a property that I'll then be able to knock down and turn into a triplex or fourplex.
I love it, Will. I love the fact that you said the first one, you know? Genius, mate. Good on you. I mean, I'm inspired already. I'm really excited by this. So let's wind the years back, because at the ripe old age of 15, which you are now, you're 2 years into running your toy importing business. How did this all start?
So this all started, I guess, with Mum. So she started, she was selling online, and reasons came to reasons. She realized that she wasn't going to be making enough money buying from wholesalers, and she wasn't making enough markup to become a profitable business. And so she decided to branch out and found China. Now, after a few years of going to China and building up our team slowly, she got a good team. And so additionally to that, so I've got a brother and a sister, and so whenever any of us turned 13, Mum would try and take us somewhere extraordinary to get us out of the regular lifestyle for a kid, other than just going to schools, get good grades, to go to university. So my opportunity when I was 13 was that I was able to go to China. Now, I'd saved up about $900 when I went to China, and when I was there, because of minimum order quantity, there was just 3 products that I wanted to get. Mum had to pitch in $1,400, which is a lot for a 13-year-old at the time. And so I got all those products. Mum was the first one I paid back. And so with those products, I then took them to some local markets. And so I did markets, and I was making about $500 to $600 a day. Off of that, we were very excited. It was the most Mum had ever done at a market before, and she thought it was amazing. And one of our friends actually recommended that we should then try doing a pop-up shop.
Okay, Will, hold your horses, my friend. There is... I'm sitting there listening to you go, wow, there are so many questions. So Mum's already in the importing business. She's got some kind of partnerships over in China. You've watched from a distance at the ripe old age of 10, 11, 12, and come 13. She says, righto, your turn to choose where you want to go. You've gone, well, I want to go to China. See, Will, if it was me, I would have wanted to go to California and ride the roller coasters. Spend all my money, come back broke. You go to China because you have in mind right there and then the idea of sourcing some toys and bringing them back and starting your first business?
Yes.
I love it. Love it. China's a big place. You know, I've spoken to people who go to China, and you hear some horrific stories too of, you know, people buying things and the boxes arriving back in Australia full of bricks, you know, heavy boxes but full of bricks. So you obviously had some contacts over there?
Yeah, so when Mum first went over, there was one person that she knew in Australia that had a contact in China, and she started with them. But obviously they had dollar signs in their eyes, and they wanted to rip Mum off as much as possible. And so this continued. She found, like almost most trips, she had a brand new team because the previous person would rip her off. Like I was there once, and we were with a lady on another team before this one that we have at the moment, which is our permanent team for now, which should be because they're the most amazing people. And we were looking in a catalogue and asked her how much.
Did you say they're the most lazy people?
No, they're the most amazing people.
Oh, the most amazing, right, okay.
And with this old this lady that we used to use, we asked her how much a product was. And she added on about another $20, $50 per item.
Yeah, right.
Which would just be just for her.
So you've got to have your wits about you, right? Tell me, tell me about that moment, Will, when you spotted the first item that you were going to import back to Australia.
Well, there wasn't exactly one specific item that I saw that I wanted, because for anyone that's been to China, it's ridiculous how many items there are.
Right.
I guess I went over there with I knew I wanted to spend my money and bring back products, but I didn't have a great idea in mind of what that was going to be. Mum had already done some research to make sure that I wasn't going to waste all my money. I just bought, I just bought 3 toys that I thought were fun, that I thought were good, because I knew that if I liked them, because my market at the time, or it still is around about like the teenage boys. So I thought that if me, being a teenage boy, liked a product, then other teenage boys would most likely like it.
That kind of makes sense. Marketing 101.
Yeah. I just found products that I thought would be cool and amazing, like quadcopters. There was one little toy. We called it a clubby hand. It was sort of like a little trampoline in your hand. And just little things like that made it fun and entertaining. So I guess it wasn't necessarily the one product that we found in that one moment, but it was.
So you spend your $900.
Feeling.
Hey, what's your dog's name?
So for the background, I've got two. One's called Toby.
Yeah.
Putting him aside because he's not meant to be barking.
Yeah.
One's called Toby. He's a little poodle.
Yeah.
And then I've got another staffy called Missy.
Right. Sounds like the staffy would eat the poodle, but that's great. Nice and quiet now. I think they wanted to be part of the interview. Hey, so you spend your $950. You come back with a box load of toys. You sell them at the market, and that very first Christmas. Correct me if I'm wrong. As you said, you made $10,000 in 1 week. Was that right?
Yes. So those products that I brought back, I sold them in the 1 week and made $10,000.
How'd that feel?
It was an amazing feeling, and it was definitely worthwhile all the long hours doing it.
You could fall into the trap of going, well, this business thing's really easy, which maybe it is for you. But did you work with your mum to kind of keep a lid on the excitement and maintain some sensibilities?
So I did work with my mum to do it. With the hard work, I think one of the days I was there for 12 hours straight selling products, which almost killed me. But I've also never spent money. The only thing that I spent money off of that pop-up shop, I think it might have been the pop-up shop afterwards, was I got a gaming computer because that was the one thing that I really wanted. and so I've learnt to have a good value for money and to try and reinvest all my money. What's your
view on money, Will?
I reckon it can be easy to get depending on your methods and depending on your value of easy. And depending on your methods, I think it's a waste to spend money on simple product, on simple things for yourself. Although you do need to have something in it for you, so you still need to be able to buy things for yourself.
That makes sense. So you've got your $10,000, less expenses. You've gone, this is pretty good. We better go and buy some more toys. Is that what you did?
Yeah. So I took that $10,000 turnover and I reinvested it. And off of that, I managed to get about a 20-foot container full of goods, full of more toys. And I got them and I booked another pop-up shop at a slightly bigger shopping centre, and so that one was for 4 weeks. So did you go?
Did you go back? Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you so often because there's just so many. It's exciting, buddy. Like you're talking to an old man here, and I think it's wonderful. So I just need to understand what you did there. So did you go back to China, or did you have a contact that you could then now shop via their online wholesale store?
So we did, I did go back to China.
Okay.
I think we were there we were there to do with my import. We went back, and while we were there, we got a few more products, and that was, I think, 30 different products.
30?
Which was, crazy compared to the previous 3.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah.
20-foot shipping container. You bring them back. You said you opened up a pop-up store because now that's interesting in itself. What, did you go to a shopping centre and talk to management or a real estate agent and ask was there any distressed stores around the place? How did you find a pop-up store?
So it was the same thing that we did the first time. So I think if people in America don't know what it is, it's like a kiosk in a mall. So what it was is we went, this is the same with the first time. So we went to our local mall and we asked the centre management, so the management of that shopping centre, if we could have a pop-up shop there. And they said yes. We contacted them, we emailed them, talking about the prices and to the location of where we wanted to go. We definitely wanted to be near escalators because we knew that there would be a lot of traffic going up and down there, close to food locations, because once again there'd be a lot of people, a lot more traffic. And we also did it at Christmas time because we knew that there would be, once again, a lot more traffic going to the shopping centres. And so we tried to get the best time possible so we could get the most value out of it.
What'd that cost you?
I think the first year it was about $3,000 for the shop for that week. although we find that it's, that included a lot of other expenses, such as insurance, some banners, like professional banners, to have on some big black boxes, which is a bit of another story, at the shopping centre.
Mm-hmm. Why is that another story?
When you're running the pop-up shop, they can supply you, or they usually supply you with big black boxes for storage, and so they always try and have you. They recommend to have these signs on the front of it, so that makes your shop look nicer.
Yeah. Fair enough. So this is in Christmas 2016, like almost a year ago, correct?
Yes, so the second one was last year.
Righto. So let us know, how much did you earn this time around?
So the second time, in 4 weeks, I made $70,000, or just under $70,000 in turnover.
Yep.
Which was awesome, amazing, outstanding. And a little bit of a funny story, if you don't mind me sharing.
Go, mate.
Was for the first 2 weeks of it, I was actually really sick. And so because I didn't want to be sharing I think it was like a cold, around to everyone, because you're constantly shaking hands, penning products, and all of that, I had to hire my sister to work there for me. And can I say that was one of the first times I had ever experienced outsourcing, and it was amazing, can I say. It was like completely revolutionized my world. And so what I did was I hired my sister. And after it, what was funny was that Mum walked into my sister's bedroom and she said, "Okay, Tiffany, here you go. Where do you want me to put the couple $1,000s that you earned in your wages?" Because I had to pay her. And so Tiff said, bank account, something like that. And then Mum walked into my bedroom and said, "Okay, where do you want me to put the the $50,000-$60,000 left over after the second pop-up shop?" And Tiff jumped out of bed and ran in and started saying, "Why did Will get that much? I was the one working." And yeah.
I love it. So did that motivate, what's your sister's name?
Tiffany.
Did that motivate Tiffany to then, did she have a business at this point or not?
She did, was selling jewellery, but this Christmas her and my brother are both selling, they've both got their own pop-up shop.
Is that Tiffany barking in the background?
No, that's the next door neighbour's dog.
Okay, so sorry, and so now Tiffany and your brother, they've got pop-up stores this Christmas.
Yeah, so we're all selling the same products, although we've got a competition to see who can make the most money.
How interesting. So all selling the same products, 3 different stores?
Yep.
3 different locations?
So my sister's actually on the level below me. So 2 of them are at the same shopping centre, but my brother is at the first shopping centre that I had my first pop-up shop at.
And Will, why the same products? Is that just because it was easy that you go and buy a whole bunch of products and just split it between the 3 businesses, or because they just go, your brother and your sister have gone, well, we'll just do what Will's doing. He seems to get it right.
Yeah, so we knew, so I guess why we're getting the same product is because we know that the toys work, we know that people want to buy them, and that there's a fascination for them. We know they'll sell, and so, yeah, I guess that's what.
What about, are you pricing the same?
Yes.
So there's an agreement, is there? You've looked Tiff in the eye and said, "Tiff, you know that Hulk grip fist that we're going to be selling. I'm looking at your website. You've got one of those. Don't sell it for less than I am."
Well, funny enough is that Tiffany actually wants to sell one of the products for more than what I'm selling it for, and what I recommend is for her to sell it at.
Wow. Okay. Well, that'll be an interesting kind of case study. So, and quite a bit of competition there. Is there a prize for the winner?
More money. Probably just bragging rights at this point in time.
Love it. Love it. What have you learned so far, Will? What have you learned about business?
So far in business, I've learned, I guess, it can be difficult to start off. It can be business itself is difficult. if you fall into a bad habit or trap, or maybe you do your business slightly wrong, say you want to put your business in one aspect, but then you find that a lot of the clients that you're targeting it towards slightly prefer something else. So after a while, I find that sometimes you can go down the wrong rabbit hole in a way, and so it can be difficult to get out. So it's always good to try and stay on track.
Has that happened to you, where you have been targeting the wrong customer and sold nothing?
Not in pop-up shops wise, but our second business, we're starting to try and market it towards people that it can benefit more.
What do you mean by, what's your second business?
So after that second pop-up shop, we had a lot of people asking us how I did my business, how I managed to do it at such a young age. And so we set up a business where we would teach people how to import it, how to import from China. We made that going better. We started advertising it. Although we found that we're targeting it more towards casual, everyday people, how Mum started off. Because we did like it. Mum loves being able to see, and so do I. We like to be able to see people start off from nothing and be able to help them make a successful business so that they can get out of their jobs and do what they love doing and be able to sell something. We want to be able to...
That business, which is called I Will Import, correct? It's sort of like a coaching business. Is that something that you're particularly passionate about, or is that something your mum's moving into and away from the day-to-day of importing?
I'm very passionate about it. It's what got me started, but if we didn't have that, because Mum used to do it, we rebranded it, we changed it, we made it better. And so that's sort of what got me into the business. And if we hadn't done that, then I wouldn't have been able to go to China. And I love being able to travel. I like being able to help people. I like being able to teach other people what they can do and how they can get started and grow. And so I'm very passionate about I Will Import, and yeah.
Fair enough. We are talking to Will Deeth, who is a 15-year-old toy importer out of Brisbane. He's on his way to buying his first house. Will, I want to talk to you about mindset. Now, you left school midway through this year and you're now homeschooling, correct?
Yeah.
How's that going?
It's going great. The method that I found is if I spend 2 or 3 hours a day on schoolwork and don't take any days off apart from weekends, then I can easily get through all of my schoolwork on time.
Do you still enjoy the schoolwork?
I much prefer to regular school in the way that I've got a lot more time. I can actually travel a lot more and make a lot more out of my time. Maybe the only disadvantage is possibly the social aspect, but there's still events and everything where everyone gets to catch up. And I guess once again, it comes back to time. So I do like doing it. I'd much prefer it, although it comes back to time. And so I'm still not having enough time personally to be able to spend on the business. I want to be able to, say, travel for 6 months promoting my importing business, or I would like to be able to travel around the world to be able to do different things, run the business from there, travel a lot more.
Who wouldn't?
Without...
Well, that'll come, buddy. That'll come. Yeah. No doubt. I imagine there'd be a number of people who said to you and your mum, you know what, this is just a silly idea. Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah, definitely.
Like who? Don't need to name names, but like any significant people?
They were significant in my in places like my previous school. One of the teachers in particular always told me that I shouldn't try and do my own business. I shouldn't try and buy my first house. I should go to university, get a regular job, because none of this is going to be making me money. Even after my second pop-up shop, making all that money, they were still telling me it won't do anything. I won't be able to get anywhere. So I guess it's sort of having to ignore them. I've tried to get away from them. I've tried to push myself away. One of the other reasons why I've gone to homeschooling, and it's been good being able to now put myself around more life-minded people, more business-minded people, because I'm sure everyone knows what it can be like even family-wise. Not many people in our family know much about the business because they don't want to know about the business. And so it can sometimes be hard to share stuff. Like, say, if somebody made 100,000, like with this new group that we've just found, which I'll talk about in a second.
Yeah.
Some of them have been making like $100,000 a month, $1 million a month. And so it'd be hard for them to go to someone that doesn't really understand it and just have a casual conversation about it without it sounding like you're boasting in a way.
So what you found is that you are now surrounding yourself with like-minded people. There's a great quote, and I can't remember who said it. It might be from that Stephen Covey book, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Don't know, but basically each of us are the sum of the 5 people that we hang around with the most. So, if you're hanging around with that level of people who are motivated around their businesses, are doing good numbers in their businesses, then that can't do anything but pull you up to their level.
Yeah.
And you're finding that?
Definitely. It's the best thing I've found, being able to talk about other people. With the new group, once again, they have, I'm sure everyone's heard of it, Mindstorm. Mastermind.
Yeah.
So they've come up with this definition in a way that when 2 people get together and start sharing information and talking, it sort of creates a third mind called a mastermind.
Yes.
Because, just say, if you're going through a business, if you just keep looking at different things, one of you might pick up something that the other one might not have noticed, and likewise the other way back, and little things like that. So just being able to mastermind with other people and to be able to share information, knowledge, help them, and at the same time they can help you, it's just great, and it's one of the best ways I've found to grow my business.
So is this group that you found a local group out of Brisbane, Will, or is it an online group?
I wish it was out of Brisbane.
It's not online.
Time zone-wise. But they're actually in America. And so it is an online group in a way that we have online. We can call them online. We have online videos and all of that. But at the same time, there's also catch-ups where we all get to catch up, like you said, create a mastermind and look into the businesses. So this one particular person, his name's Trey Llewellyn. He managed to create $20 million in 90 days selling one product, which was a flashlight, which is outstanding and amazing and completely blows my mind how he did it. And so now he's teaching other people how to do that.
What have you learned? I completely dislike and love this guy already. What was his name? Trevor. What have you learned?
Trey Llewellyn.
Trey. What have you learned from him? What's the number one lesson you've learned from someone who's made $20 million in 90 days selling a torch?
If it's not the method that he did it, so using a website called ClickFunnels, then it would definitely have to be so much stuff. I guess one of the things, because there's no...
Just pausing on that, tell me about the so much stuff. What just went through your head then?
He went this morning, he's helping us with our importing business. So he's looked into it and said, this is, he says he's got lots of ideas for it. He said, you're doing this wrong, this wrong, this wrong, this wrong. This is how you can change it to benefit you guys and to be able to help you guys. He doesn't show us necessarily how to do it. So, most of the time, he doesn't show us how to do it and say, this is what you do it here. But he tells you where to look out for things so that we can still do it. And we got back from his workshop, I think his workshop was 2 weeks ago or something like that. And while we were there, he just shared so many invaluable tips. One is that, did you know that the NASA rockets, when they take off from Earth, they make 8,000 little minor adjustments, because if one of those was off, then it would miss the moon. Like, if it's going to the moon, then it would miss the moon by, I think, 2 miles.
Mm-hmm.
And so if in our businesses, we constantly have to make these little minor adjustments, but only make them a little, like, one at a time. Don't try and change it by, like, 50 at a time. And, like, just to see if, like, if you shoot 2 rockets, but you're not sure if it's one number or another number, or say, like, a heading on a website's wrong. If you change that and tweak it, then you might hit the moon, or you might be off.
Gotcha.
It's, I guess, little things like that,
I like that. So the lesson there is constantly tweaking, because I think a lot of people listening, a lot of business owners listening may well get the website done and then leave it and not change a headline, or they may well go with an email marketing campaign in which they literally have the same subject line every month they send an email out, that type of thing. Whereas what you should be doing, constantly testing, setting a benchmark, trying to beat it, all that type of stuff. Hey, Will, I'll tell you a secret. I think I bought one of that bloke's flashlights. I got sucked into his click funnel. It was about $70.
I know, they're actually really expensive, and he bought them. Yeah, it was at $50, $70, something like that. And I think he was buying them for like $5.
Oh, Will, please don't tell me that. And I got completely sucked in because his marketing was very good. It was a Facebook ad. Not only that, once I decided to buy it, there was like, before you go, do you want one of his upselling and cross-selling was absolutely genius. I think I ended up with 4 lithium batteries, a travel case. And the funny thing is I haven't even used it yet.
He is the master at upselling, cross-selling, downselling, all of that. Like, he follows another guy called Russell Brunson, who created ClickFunnels, and Mum bought a free book off of him that cost her $480.
That's not a free book.
the upsells and everything cost her like $480 on this free book.
Willie, digressing, so interesting, you've got a mentor, that's fantastic. The fact that you are investing in yourself, I know that last week you were in the States and you did the ClickFunnels program, and that's really impressive. With respect to your e-commerce, you've got an e-commerce website now, so you're not just doing pop-up stores, but you're selling online over at willbefun.com. I love the personal branding with your name. I've got a son called Will, and it opens it up. It's great when it's great when your first name is actually a verb. It's good.
It's amazing.
With respect to your website, would it be fair to say, what I love about it, it's very basic. Yeah, and I think it's got so much upside. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. And also, we haven't actually. Well, the beauty and annoying thing about it is that we've got we're so busy at the moment. Like, even traveling to America and creating these funnels to make this ridiculous amount of money, that we actually haven't had time to lead traffic to that website yet. So not many people have actually seen it, I don't think.
So it's probably, would I be fair to say, 10% of your income?
Not yet.
Not even?
Pop-up shops are, but not the website at the moment. Not yet.
Pop-up shops are the majority of your income?
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
love it.
I think I did $100,000 turnover in the last 12 months.
Mm-hmm. Well, where do you want to be? It's a tough question. I sort of don't like this question. I'm almost going to retract it. But where do you want to be in 5 years' time at the ripe old age of 20?
I'm honestly not sure. Anything could change. Internet could change.
Yeah, no, I thought that might be the answer. Boy, mate, at 15, I didn't know where I was going to be next week, much less when I was 20.
I guess if I had to answer, maybe, because I've always been big in property, maybe in 5, because I've got a 3-year goal. So when I'm 18, I want to have 10 houses under my belt, 10 investment properties under my belt.
Come on, mate, step it up.
And other things like that. And so I guess what it could be is maybe ideally, making $2 million a month profit, 100 or so houses, investment properties, all around the world. I'm not sure.
Good on you, buddy. Well, I I wish you nothing but massive success with that. I watched only last night a documentary. Do you know the actor Jim Carrey from Dumb and Dumber? What's that?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah, Dumb and Dumber. I was watching a documentary on him, and when he was a broke comedian in Canada, where he was from, one day he decided to write a cheque to himself for $10 million that he obviously couldn't cash, but it was for acting services rendered, $10 million. And he made a promise to himself that within the coming 3 years, that cheque would actually, he would receive that from someone else and be able to cash it. And he did. He did it in like 2.5 years or less. And so, mate, keep the dream alive, buddy. I speak to a lot of business owners. The ones that come on this show are generally successful and generally have the enthusiasm, maybe not as much as you because they're a little bit older and maybe a little bit more jaded, but generally are excited by their business and the success that it brings. But I also speak to a lot of business owners who are tired and are no longer excited. And may that never happen to you, buddy. And if there is some way to capture and remind yourself on an ongoing basis of what you're achieving now and how you are feeling now, then I think that would be a great thing because I think the world needs more Wills.
I mean, it is a pretty good name.
Good on you, buddy. Hey, listen, how can people find you, Willie?
They can either go to iwillimport.com and contact my mum because I don't have social media, or at least I don't check it. They can follow me on Facebook, just Will Deeth, although I haven't checked in a while. Or they can go to our website, www.willbefun.com as well.
Love it, mate.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being the youngest person ever to be on the Small Business Big Marketing Show, and congratulations for not being sucked in to the world of social media. That's another big tick. Thanks, Will.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
There you go, team. Will Deeth of Will Be Fun. Great story, eh? I get the feeling we might be hearing a little bit more of young William as the years go by, as long as he doesn't burn out, which I don't think he will. You never know, do you? But he's got a lot of big dreams and a lot of aspirations, and I like that in a young man. Coming up, I'm going to share my top 3 attention grabbers from that fireside chat with Will. Plus, I'll help a listener, her name is Leela, get noticed in an industry dominated by one big brand. Cheap, quick, great. I used to work with a designer who'd force me to choose 2 of those 3 options whenever I wanted something designed. As a small business owner with limited funds, it drove me nuts that I could never have all 3. That's why I love Design Crowd. You see, Design Crowd is a website that helps startups, small businesses and marketers outsource custom design, from logos and business cards to websites and landing pages. In fact, Design Crowd gives you access to over 550,000 designers from Sydney to San Francisco, ready to help you with awesome creative ideas. Here's how it works. You post a brief describing your design need. Within hours, you'll receive your first design, and over the next 3 to 10 days, a typical project will receive 60 to 100 different designs from designers around the world. You then pick your favourite, make any changes, and pay the designer. You know, whether you're an entrepreneur looking to set up your brand or an established business that needs marketing collateral designed, Design Crowd is your answer. For a special $100 VIP listener offer, go to designcrowd.com/Timbo or enter the discount code Timbo when posting a project. See? Now you can have cheap, quick and great design thanks to Design Crowd. Cash flow in business is everything, right? That's why I'm excited to introduce you to Prosper, Australia's #1 online lender to Aussie small businesses. But don't take my word for it. Small business owner Nioli Scobie of Truly Tea won the contract to supply the Opera House and needed to quickly ship tens of thousands of tea bags and 2 tonnes of loose leaf tea. Where was she going to get the money for that?
Okay, well, I already supplied, part of the Opera House, and then they offered me, inside the Opera House, which is a very big deal, and I had to have a lot of stock on hand. You can't say no to the Opera House. When they place an order, they want it the next day, and those are the terms of trade, and I wasn't going to say no to them. I'd knocked back too many opportunities in the past, so I phoned up a finance guy I trusted. He said, look, there's a new player on the market, Prosper, give them a call. I gave them a call, and within 24 hours I had the money in the bank.
Prosper, Prospa. That's where she got the money. Apply online in 10 minutes to borrow up to $250,000. Call 1300 882 867 or visit prosper.com/Timbo. All right, my top 3 attention grabbers from that chat with Will Deeth, thanks to Prosper and Design Crowd. Attention grabber number 1. Introduce the young people around you to the entrepreneurial mindset. In fact, I would get them to listen to this interview and head over to Booktopia, great online bookstore, and send them a book like Side Hustle or the $100 Startup. I think the more young people, given we don't teach business in high school, the more young people that kind of understand the entrepreneurial mindset, the better this country is going to be. I'll now get off my soapbox. Attention grabber number 2. Hang out with like-minded people. I love the fact that Will is actually making effort with his mum to go overseas, do the ClickFunnels course, be part of mastermind groups with people that are doing bigger and better things than he is, because they're going to drag him up. Love that. Hang out with like-minded people. And attention grabber number 3, find a business buddy to compete with and hold each other accountable. I love the fact that there's this competition between Will and his siblings, and I think if you can find someone who can hold you accountable, who you can compete with, then you're going to have a better business and more fun as a result. They're the 3 things that grabbed my attention from that chat with Will. What grabbed yours? Head over to smallbusinessbigmarketing.com/396. Let me know. So I get a lot of emails from listeners, which I love, asking me marketing questions. And this one is from Leela. She says, "Hey, Timbo." Hey, Leela. "I've always loved your shows, and I was pleasantly surprised to find that you finally did an episode that's based on an industry that I'm in. Pharmacy, with an exclamation mark. My question, Timbo, is, also being a supporter in small business, how should the other independent small pharmacies play in the world that Jack Gance of Chemist Warehouse and his family have obviously succeeded in? Is there still a chance for us small fries? Thanks, Timbo. Would really appreciate your response, as I'm still trying to figure out how to make a dent in this world. Cheers, Leela." Well, Leela, yes, there is absolutely a chance for you small fry pharmacies and small fry businesses in any industry that are being attacked by the big guys. So, first of all, have the positive mindset that this is possible, right? Sit in that space, get comfortable with it. Then I would implement an amazing customer experience. You've heard me talk about this before. I won't go into any detail, but what is that experience from the moment a customer walks into your pharmacy to the moment they walk out? Is it unreal? Is it shareable? Is it memorable? Within that, create amazing customer service. In fact, to that point, I'm going to go as far as to say, as the pharmacist, get out from behind the counter. You're no longer mixing potions. That's not what pharmacists do. Get out on the floor, speak to your customers all the time. Advise them what they should buy. Direct them in the right direction. Give them advice. Do as much of that as you can and provide amazing, amazing customer service. Another idea would be to do product demonstrations. I know there's a lot of compliance around the different products that you guys sell, But having, like supermarkets do, when you go into a supermarket and you see someone demonstrating a product, I sometimes think we can learn from the big guys, maybe tap some of your key suppliers on the shoulder and see if they'll do product demonstrations, say on a Saturday morning from 9 till 10, and make that something that you guys do on a regular basis. Finally, become integral to your local community, okay? Be the pharmacist in your local area that people refer to, talk about and share on social media. Leela, thank you for your question. Don't lose faith, and absolutely there is still a chance for the small fries. You and I cover some serious marketing ground in this show. Thanks for joining me each week. I do appreciate it. Have you listened to the chat we had with Jacqueline James? She sells a plastic knife called the Kiddies Food Cutter. And I've got to tell you, she is a genius product demonstrator.
Firstly is your position in any market. I work tirelessly behind the scenes with the market organiser. I don't just turn up and go where they tell me to go. So it's crucial that you're on a corner spot for flow of traffic being a demonstrator, because you can't call people and yell at them if the aisles are too wide. They have to be passing and you need to interact with them.
What do you mean call? Like, hey, you, come over here.
Have you seen the Kiddies Food Cutter? Have your children, do they cut their food safely on a dinner table?
Love it.
So you need to interact.
You know, Jacqueline's husband is one of those guys you see on all those TV infomercials, those like 30-minute ads, and he's taught her everything he knows when it comes to product demonstration. And there is absolute product demonstration gold in that chat, which you'll find over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com, or you can subscribe free on your favourite podcast catcher. Hey, I'd love to hear from you. Hit the contact button over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com, where you can email me, send me a marketing question, connect with me on social media, and grab a signed copy of my book, The Boomerang Effect. Check out Design Crowd, the world's #1 custom design marketplace, where with access to 550,000 designers, you will absolutely, guaranteed, get the perfect design every time. If you don't, they give you your money back. And they're also giving you $100 off your brief if you use the link designcrowd.com/Timbo. And be sure to check out Prosper, PROSPA, if you need some short-term coin, because they're Australia's #1 online lender to small businesses. You can quickly apply online for loans up to $250,000, get a fast decision, in most cases receive the funding in under 24 hours. Visit prosper.com/Timbo or call them on 1300 882 867. Tell them Timbo sent you. Hey, if you love the Small Business Big Marketing Show, then let another business owner know about it by grabbing their phone, opening up the podcast app, subscribing to the show, handing it back, saying you're welcome, and move on to the next one. Until next week, I am Timbo Reid. Always have been, always will be. Thanks for tuning in. May your marketing be the best marketing. Bye for now.